Stand up.
WOVU LP Cleveland.
Issues out of black and white. Let's concentrate on right and wrong.
And now, our voices today.
Why are we led by our pride? We shouldn't let them block the path to our hearts and minds. We must first be informed of what's going on. It's time to make the short story longer. Stand up, my people. Stand for something in your life. Stand up, my people.
Welcome to Our Voices today, right here on Burton Belcar Community Radio with your beloved unicorn of the land, DJ Black Unicorn, aka Uni. And hello, hello. We've been doing those cleansing breaths. Go ahead and take a deep breath in and exhale. That wasn't just for you guys. That was also for Miss Chelsea here because she's a little nervous. So we're going to welcome her with open arms. I just reminded her this is just an awesome conversation done here on WOVU 95.9 FM. If you didn't know who you were turned into, yes, this is Uni right here on BBC Community Radio. And today, I have something special for you all, especially if you are a business owner. And if you know what you know, or what you should know at least, it's Thursday, September 19th, and today, right now, it is 70 degrees. Today's high is 76. It's supposed to be sunny all day long, so hopefully that actually happens. We don't see any clouds and definitely no rain, but this is Cleveland, so stay ready so you won't have to get ready. Shout out to the dads that walk their kids to school today. You all are so appreciated. To the dads, just trying their best. That's all we ask. Just keep trying, man. Just keep trying, and thank you. Thank you for all it is that you do. Please. Today, I have something special in plan. Well, not in plan. In store. Something special in store. Today's focus with Legal Aid Society is a conversation all about the Corporate Transparency Act. And for many years, the federal government required only large corporations to report their beneficial ownership information. With the passing of the Corporate Transparency Act this year, most businesses, no matter how large or small, must report their beneficial ownership information. This information is then submitted to a federal agency called the Financial Crime Enforcement Network, also known as FinCEN. Did I say that right, ladies? That's right? Okay. So today, I am joined by Miss Catherine Donnelly, correct? And Miss Chelsea Daniel. And Miss Catherine is a senior attorney at the Community Engagement Practice Group of the Legal Aid Society of Cleveland. Catherine supports legal aid's work with low-income entrepreneurs and also represents community groups and nonprofits in building sustainable structures to answer community issues. She joined Legal Aid in 2020, coming from a private practice where she provided general counsel services to small and mid-sized businesses in all stages of growth and to community development groups and other nonprofits. In 2019, Catherine was honored for her pro bono work advising micro businesses as the Women's Business Center of Greater Cleveland's Volunteer of the Year. Before law school, Catherine worked in social services and community organizing. She graduated summa cum laude from Cleveland State University College of Law in 2008, and she holds a BA from Oberlin College. And Miss Chelsea Daniel, she is a paralegal in the Community Engagement Practice Group as well for the Legal Aid Society of Cleveland. She began her career in community corrections where she taught poetry workshops to women who were incarcerated. This work inspired her passions for ending gender-based violence in marginalized communities. From there, Chelsea went on to work as a legal advocate at the Cleveland Rape Crisis Center and the Ohio Alliance to End Sexual Violence, where she gained expert knowledge and experience in Title IX advocacy, legal advocacy, and college campus-based violence and prevention programming. Chelsea also previously worked as a litigation, paralegal. We led the litigies. No, seriously though. A litigation paralegal for the civil rights law firm Friedman, Gilbert, and Gerstein. Thank you. She holds a bachelor's degree in English and creative writing from Cleveland State University. Super duper amazing. I'm super happy to have you both in here, and especially you, Miss Chelsea, my quiet creative that was quite frightened. That's another reason we take these cleansing breaths. We need a moment sometimes just to center ourselves and prepare ourselves, not only for the conversation, but just for what is happening in life in general. I was having a lovely conversation with someone else who is off air from Legal Aid here with us before we got started. And life be lifing, but you got to push through, but you also got to take those moments. This is Suicide Awareness Month, and look, if you are struggling, please reach out. Let someone around you know, because I guarantee you they do not want you to go away. I promise you that. And back to the topic at hand. We are here to talk all about the Corporate Transparency Act. And Miss Catherine, what exactly is the Corporate Transparency Act? I talked a little bit about it. I gave a tiny bit breakdown, but can you just go into about this act?
You hit it on the head. It's recent legislation that came into effect at the beginning of 2024 that requires businesses that previously didn't have to provide information about their ownership to this federal agency, the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. Mm-hmm. It fills in a gap for reporting, so that now pretty much all businesses, any business that has filed and created an entity with their state Secretary of State, so the Ohio Secretary of State here, is now going to be required to report their ownership information to the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. And that's it's a new burden, but the intent is to be able to expand the information that's collected so that fewer crimes slip through slip under the radar, and the crimes, fraud, tax evasion, evading sanctions, mm-hmm. Funding terrorism, things that we want to prevent can be enforced with providing this information. But it is now a very broad law that is going to affect a lot of people who may not ever have heard about it.
Thank you, because this tax season is coming up, just like the holidays. So it's very important to know what is required of you as a business so you can continue to do business. But what is the federal reporting requirement for the beneficial ownership information, also known as the BOI? And is it the same thing as the Corporate Transparency Act?
It's what the Corporate Transparency Act requires. It requires businesses to report their beneficial ownership information. Mm-hmm. So exactly what it sounds like. But there's a lot in that. What is beneficial ownership information? Exactly.
Next question. What is that? What exactly is that? Is that just my income? Is that just the revenue that I've made from my business? What exactly is it?
It's who owns the company, mm-hmm. Or who controls the company. Mm-hmm. It's whoever owns 25%, at least 25% of the company, or substantially controls the company, needs to report information, their own information, which Chelsea's going to go into in more detail, and it's just one reporting. You just have to do it once unless your information changes. So it's not a heavy burden, but it's something that people need to know about. It's just sounds scary, but it should be easy.
So let's talk about the process of reporting the beneficial ownership information. Do we know the process just yet? Is that something that has already been established when they dropped the act back in the beginning of the year?
Yeah, so the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network is a federal agency that is tasked with enforcing and administering this new requirement. And they've issued a lot of guidance. So there's because this is new, there's stuff that we can't say for sure. But one thing we can say for sure is how you report, because that was one of the first things they did was roll out the reporting system.
Thank you. What is the Financial Crime Enforcement Network? Is that a part of that system that you're referring to?
Yeah, the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network is a federal agency that, and what it sounds like, it enforces financial crimes, like companies that evade sanctions. Where, for example, the U.S. has sanctions against Russia. This agency ensures that those laws, those sanctions are complied with. Also can enforce federal fraud laws. And it does this in large part by gathering information that it can share under protections with law enforcement agencies.
Thank you, because I definitely remember at the top of the year, or maybe not the top of this year, but I remember at some point Cash App changed its terms and policies and agreements, whereas if you make a certain amount, I think it was $5,000 or something of that nature, you have to report your earnings of Cash App. Was this a part of that, or is that kind of something aligned with FinCEN?
So unless the information that they're asking for is things like address and social security numbers, then it's probably actually more related to IRS enforcement, where the IRS is now trying to make sure that income is reported from apps, and the IRS actually has a $600 income level to start reporting. So there's been
was way off.
Yeah. But I don't think that's where they're requiring the apps to report. But they are doing a greater effort to make sure that income also gets reported.
Thank you. How does this act affect low-income entrepreneurs?
So any entrepreneur that has a business registered, which means not sole proprietor. If someone's out there doing business under their own name, they're doing gig work, self-employment under their own name or under a trade name, this doesn't affect them. But anyone who's got like a limited liability company or an S corp, who's created a business entity, some other kinds of entities also, actually most other kinds of entities, those entrepreneurs need to report this information. And so it's another hurdle to get through to stay in compliance. It's not a heavy one, but the challenge is knowing that it's out there. Failing to report accurately can come with fines and even prison. So it's important to know about it. But I also would say, on the other hand, don't get too scared, because part of the law actually says that FinCEN is required to try to help entrepreneurs businesses comply with the act.
So that's interesting. We'll actually tap on that right after this break. You got to stick around to find out what interesting question I actually just have about that funding, because we have so many grant programs happening, but is this a part of any of those pools? You got to stick around to find out. Don't go away. You are listening to Our Voices Today right here on Burton Belcar Communication, having a great conversation with Miss Catherine and Miss Chelsea of the Legal Aid Society. And if you did not know, the Legal Aid Society mission is to secure justice, equity, and access to opportunity for and with people who have low incomes through passionate legal representation and advocacy for systematic change. And if you have any questions or you may have some type of situation going on, you can always visit lasclev.org. Again, that's lasclev. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Excuse me, but I get so mad. Where could we have been? What could we have had? Yeah, it's time to lose those shackles and break those chains. Now who is gonna stop you from being a man?
Get ready for the 13th annual R&B Hall of Fame induction ceremony, Sunday, October 6th at the Marriott Cleveland East in Warrensville Heights. This year's inductees include Jeffrey Osborne, Regina Bell, also Genuine, Kenny Lattimore,
All this love is for you.
the legendary Candy Staten, William Bell,
When you're trying to love too.
and many more. Also a special tribute to Leo's Casino Nightclub.
I love you, girl, with
The 13th annual R&B Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Don't miss it, Sunday, October 6th at the Marriott Cleveland East in Warrensville Heights.
Visit rbhof.com for more information. Again, that's rbhof.com. This message was brought to you by the National R&B Hall of Fame and WOVU 95.9 FM. Our Voices United, Burton Belcar Community Radio.
Hello, this is Joy Johnson, and I listen to WOVU, Our Voices United, 95.9 FM.
Is your family in need of a new medical provider? Call the Village of Healing Center, the solution for quality Black health care. Cuyahoga County's first and only Black-led and operated medical center. All Black providers caring for Black families. Schedule primary care, chronic disease management, mental health, OBGYN, and pediatric care appointments at 216-815-4325. Offering men, women, and children the quality health care our families deserve. Call the Village of Healing Center today at 216-815-4325. That's 216-815-4325. This message has been brought to you by the Village of Healing Center and WOVU 95.9 FM. Our Voices United, Burton Belcar Community Radio.
Hi, my name is April Scott, and WOVU 95.9 is the bomb diggity station. Stay tuned for more.
It's time to make the short story longer. Yeah. Stand up, my people. Stand for something in your life. Stand up, my people.
Welcome back to Our Voices Today right here on Burton Belcar Community Radio with your beloved unicorn of the land, DJ Black Unicorn. And if you're just tuning in, I have two lovely ladies from Legal Aid Society of Cleveland, Miss Catherine and Miss Chelsea, telling us all about the Corporate Transparency Act. And during the break, I asked her a quick question about just the funding that she mentioned being put aside to inform and make sure that these entrepreneurs and business owners know about this act and know that they have to report and stay up to date. And you can just go ahead and go a little bit into that answer, Miss Catherine.
Yeah, so thanks for giving me the chance to clarify. I said that FinCEN has an obligation to help business owners with reporting, and the way that they do that is with information, but it's also the law is intended to make sure that their approach is not punitive, that they're not out to get anybody, that if someone has a good reason why they didn't report, or they just made a mistake in the information that they reported, then rather than go right to punishing people for that, then FinCEN is supposed to try to work with them to get them into compliance. And one of the ways that they're doing that is they've proactively getting information out to the general public to some extent, but also to agencies like legal aid, to attorneys, so that we're aware and we can get the information out to our clients and to the general public about this new requirement and the need to report. And there's also a lot of materials online at FinCEN's website to be able to understand what are the reporting requirements and how often you need to report and those kinds of things. I should say businesses that were formed before 2024 have until the end of the year to figure this out. So I would definitely take advantage of that material so you understand it.
Thank you. And we will be providing that website for you shortly. But in the meantime, can you just tell me a little bit about any barriers that low-income entrepreneurs may be facing due to the passing of this Corporate Transparency Act?
Yeah, it's the barrier is if you don't report, and you should report, even though there is this goal of getting people into compliance, you could run afoul of the law. You could end up with fines and even criminal charges. Just because you're not paying attention, and that's an important thing to pay attention to your business. There may be one of the things I always say is you should do a periodic review. Go to your state's Secretary of State website, or in Ohio, the Ohio Business Gateway, and check what things have changed, if anything. And in fact, there is some information on Ohio's business websites about FinCEN.
Yes, and if you yourself need to visit FinCEN and go ahead and submit this information, you can visit FinCEN.gov, FinCEN.gov. That's FinCEN.gov. See, they should just let us know. Get with us. FinCEN.gov. Seriously, though, if you are an entrepreneur, you own a business, 25%, or, the majority, you need to make sure you are in compliance, because you don't want those fines. You don't want that jail time. Okay? I know I don't want it for you. I know I don't want it, because I'm a business. I have an LLC. I definitely didn't know about this. This is something that I need to get in compliance with myself. Now that I think about it, I'm like, oh, Miss Catherine and Miss Chelsea, y'all talking to me. How often will we have to file, though? Can we go into depths about what people can find at FinCEN.gov? How often do we have to file this information with them?
So I'll talk about the timing of filing,
Okay.
But Ms. Chelsea's got the best information about the details about how you go into it. So businesses, as I said, that were formed before 2024, and that means that you filed a document with the Secretary of State before 2024. Those businesses have until the end of this year to file an initial report. Then after that, if the information that they have reported changes, then they have 30 days to file an updated report. And that information could be who owns the business. It could be as big as that, or it could be an address change, or any of the other information that's reported. Needs to be updated if it changes. Otherwise, if it doesn't change, there's no requirement to file again, only if the information changes. For businesses that form during this year, those businesses have 90 days from the date that they filed that document with the Ohio Secretary of State to report the information. If you're just hearing this for the first time, I want to go back to what I said about FinCEN has an obligation to try to get people into compliance. Don't panic. See what you can do to get into compliance.
Thank you.
Going forward, 2025 and forward, businesses will have 30 days after the date they make that initial filing with their Secretary of State to file their beneficial ownership information.
Thank you. Chelsea, anything to add?
I would just add that if information changes after you file your initial report, you will have to file a completely new report with the old information and the updated changes.
Ooh.
You have 30 days to do so.
Ooh. So is this like a quick sheet, Miss Chelsea, or is this like a 50-page pamphlet?
It doesn't take long at all.
Okay.
It's very self-explanatory. The website kind of leads you and guides you into what you need and what to do next.
Okay. Thank you. Because look, we be busy. Us, business owners, entrepreneurs, we be busy. And with that being said, how does this affect sole proprietors? Are they affected at all, or is this reporting that they have to take part in?
Yeah, so a sole proprietor does not have to report. If the sole proprietor, again, is somebody who's doing business under their own name or under a trade name, and they file taxes, they just file taxes as themselves. They report income on the 1040. There's no schedule. Those people do not have to report beneficial ownership information. There's no business entity. Who owns that business is right out there in the open. It's that sole proprietor. If you're a sole owner of a limited liability company, for example, or the sole shareholder of an S Corp, then you do have to file.
Gotcha. So I was right. I gotta do this too, y'all. How will a business know if they are exempt from having to file a report, though? Do they need an attorney if they are exempt, just to verify?
Yeah, there are exemptions. I said there are that pretty much anybody who's filed, created an entity with their state is now required to file. That's true unless there's an exemption. And there's 20 plus exemptions listed on FinCEN's website. But the most common one is nonprofit entities that are exempt from taxation at the federal level. Those nonprofits are exempt. They do not have to report their beneficial ownership information. There's some disagreement, though, about if a nonprofit hasn't been recognized by the IRS as tax exempt. I think most attorneys would say they don't have to register. But I said earlier, this is a new law, and there's a lot of stuff that we don't necessarily know yet about how it will be enforced. And that's one of the things that we don't know. So I would say that if you're not sure if you're exempt as a nonprofit, or you think you might, you're looking at the website and you see those other exemptions, you think you might fit into one of those, I would definitely see if you can consult an attorney and go through it. And one of the great places to do that would be at a legal aid brief advice clinic. And you can find the schedule of those on our website at lasclev.org.
Thank you. I appreciate you dropping that website as well. On our way to break, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on Our Voices Today, right here on Burton Belcar Community Radio. Don't go away.
Short story longer, yeah. Stand up, my people. Stand for something in your life. Stand up, my people.
This is Trey Modlin, News Director for WOVU 95.9 FM, Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station. We thrive 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to bring you important information from the city of Cleveland. Here is a special word from our friends at the Marshall Project.
Hi there, I'm Mark Puente, an investigative reporter in Cleveland for the MarshallProject.org. I've reported on local topics like the Cuyahoga County corruption probe, Bratnall's ticketing of black Cleveland drivers, and the lack of re-entry support for people leaving the county jail. For 20 years, I've held those in power accountable. Before becoming a journalist, I drove a truck for 15 years, and when I'm not chasing stories, I'm often smoking meats or making tacos in my family's food truck. If you have story ideas or questions, please contact me at cleveland@themarshallproject.org.
Stay tuned for more great conversation, important information, and the best music right here at 95.9 WOVU. Our Voices United.
Many people in our community dream of owning a home. Unfortunately, many also feel that that dream is out of reach. However, family, KeyBank is committed to changing that. KeyBank partners with a variety of mortgage programs focused on meeting the needs of borrowers, including offering down payment assistance, affordable and government loans, and solutions for first-time home buyers. A Key Community Mortgage is also a great way to help reach the goal of home ownership. It allows you to take advantage of low down payment options, and qualifying is easier than you might think. It's one more way KeyBank is supporting neighbors and neighborhoods in the communities that they proudly call home. To learn more, visit your local KeyBank branch and speak to a licensed mortgage loan officer. KeyBank and home lending products offered by KeyBank are not FDIC insured or guaranteed. Equal housing lender, NMLS number 399797.
This message has been brought to you by KeyBank and WOVU 95.9 FM. Our Voices United, Burton Belcar Community Radio.
Hey guys, it's Chef Vic with Sauce the City, best Cleveland hot chicken sandwich in the city. You're listening to WOVU 95.9 FM radio. Tune in.
At CMSD, we're striving to provide resources, support, quality education, and opportunities to scholars regardless of their zip code or their background. The future of CMSD means providing education opportunities for all scholars across the district, targeted to support their academic achievement. It's a future where equity is at the forefront and barriers no longer exist. The future of CMSD starts here.
This message has been brought to you by Cleveland Metropolitan School District and WOVU 95.9.
It's time to make
Our Voices United, Burton Belcar Community Radio.
Stand up, my people. Stand for something in your life. Stand up, my people.
Welcome back to Our Voices Today right here on Burton Bell Car Community Radio. If you're just tuning in, this is Uni in your ear with two lovely guests from the Legal Aid Society. If you don't know or somehow you missed it when I said it the first time, Legal Aid's mission is to secure justice, equity, and access to opportunities for and with people who have low incomes through passionate legal representation and advocacy for systematic change. And all legal services are at zero cost. No cost at all to the clients. It just has to be civil issues. But they are out here educating people just on the business end just this one time, right? Just this one time, maybe. But we're going to jump right back into it. And I want to talk about the access to information because, you know, it feels like we have to give our information at every turn these days. You got to register for this. You got to register for that. What's your email? Can I have your phone number so we can text you and keep you up to date? Right? So who will have access to this information after we submit to FinCEN? And again, that's FinCEN.org if you need to submit that information and get in code yourself.
FinCEN.gov.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, definitely check that out and get the information off of it and do the reporting if you need to. So your information that you report is protected. That is part of the law. There are penalties for not reporting. There are penalties for misusing the information, and for releasing it improperly. FinCEN can share the information with federal national security and intelligence agencies, state and local federal law enforcement, some foreign law enforcement authorities. All law enforcement authorities, however, need to get permit. It has to be part of an actual investigation. They can't just go fishing, and generally there should be a court order or some court process before that information is released.
Thank you.
There are also financial institutions have long been covered, have long had to report information, and so they are able to get some of the beneficial ownership information as well, but only for the purposes of complying with their own obligations. And similarly, federal agencies that regulate banks and the U.S. Department of Treasury, which includes the IRS and FinCEN, they are able to use that information. But all of those authorities that are allowed to get that information must themselves have protections in place to avoid the improper release or misuse of that information.
Thank you. Because, you know, our information is valuable. People literally pay for our information, what we do on our phones and our laptops and tablets each day. And we just want to make sure that we are secure in every turn. Miss Chelsea, how do they file? Do they file on the website? Can you mail it in?
So if your company is required to report your company's beneficial ownership information, you will do so electronically through the secure filing system on FinCEN's website. So again, make sure you're on FinCEN.gov.
Thank you. What information must be reported, just to be clear?
So the company's legal name, the employer identification number, the country of incorporation, the state of business formation, the LLC address, members and owners' legal names, members and owners' date of birth, members and owners' addresses, and also a government-issued ID or uploaded picture of your driver's license.
Thank you. Because I just never know what information I need. I always think it's like, the standard but then they throw me a curveball and I'm like, hold on, can you just stay right here? Who should file the report on behalf of the company?
Anyone whom the reporting company authorizes to act on its behalf. So it could be an employer, an owner, or a third-party service provider.
Will they need a power of attorney to do so? Is that included? Like say I'm the majority owner of this business, but I appointed my assistant to handle some business for me, such as this, because this is tedious and I don't have time.
Yeah.
Do I then need to appoint her a power of attorney to handle this business for me, or can she just go ahead and do it with my verbal permission?
She can do it with your permission, yeah.
Okay. That's good to know, because look, these little laws it's just very tedious. This information, the little information that you don't know, can become big problems. Very, very big problems. So let's avoid that and go ahead and stay up to code and head to FinCEN.org if you need to, and go ahead and do what Miss Chelsea just described and submit the information that they need so you don't have any unwanted situations going on. We don't want to magnify anything if we don't have to, right? So who is considered a beneficial owner?
Anyone who owns at least 25% or more of the company's shares or assets.
Because they're benefiting the most, so they're beneficial. I got it. Okay. Is there a fee for filing? Is there, are they trying to charge us to provide our information?
There is no fee.
Okay,
no.
But
I think Catherine has something to add.
Yeah, I would just add that beneficial ownership could also be control of the company. So ownership for an LLC, if you have multiple members, you probably have an operating agreement. If you don't, I would definitely go talk to an attorney about that, or if you think you might be eligible for legal aid, give us a call. The operating agreement should identify who owns the company and how much they own of the company. But ownership could also be by control. So corporations, for example, if a corporation has a board or an LLC has a manager, that person is responsible, can make decisions for the company. That person might need to have their information reported even if they don't own 25% of the company. And that's particularly important for those entities that are not businesses, because this does cover a lot of different kinds of entities, co-ops, for example. Those entities will need to report their board members.
Thank you. And I'm happy to hear there isn't a fee. Because I'm still they be trying the audacity. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on Our Voices today to wrap up this awesome conversation all about the Corporate Transparency Act that went into place at the beginning of this year. And if you have any questions or you need to file, you can visit FinCEN.gov. That's FinCEN.gov, FINCEN.gov. Or if you need some legal aid society help, you can also visit LASCLEV.gov. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Short story longer, yeah. Stand up, my people. Stand for something in your life. Stand up, my people.
Founded in 1874, Friendly End Settlement Incorporated has been a beacon of hope for residents of the Central and Fairfax communities, providing a gathering place and essential services. To celebrate its 150th anniversary, Friendly Inn Settlement is hosting an awards gala, Legacy of Love, 150 years of community building. Friday, October 4th from 6 to 10 p.m., located at 40 Shorebar Way in Bracknell. This event will honor the legacy of service and commitment to improving lives as well as individuals who have made a significant contribution to the community. This year's honorary chairs include Shakori David, President of Next Generation Construction, Judge Michael Ryan of the Ohio 8th District Court of Appeals, and Dr. R.A. Vernon, founder and senior pastor of the Word Church. Visit friendlyn150.com for more details with the ongoing initiatives, how you can get involved, and for the awards gala on Friday, October 4th from 6 to 10 p.m. at the Shoreby Club, 40 Shoreby Way in Bracknell. This message has been brought to you by Friendly Inn Settlement Incorporated and WOVU 95.9 FM, Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station.
Hi, this is Ebony Hood from Cleveland, Ohio, and you're listening to 95.9 FM, Our Voices United, Burton Bell Carr community radio.
On the poplar trees,
Are you a resident of Buckeye, Mount Pleasant, or Woodland Hills?
Your voices matter. The Lift Every Voice 216 initiative, brought to you by St. Luke's Foundation, wants to hear from you about the changes you want in your community. It's time to talk policy change because your community deserves better.
What policies can make a real difference in your neighborhood?
Now is your chance to shape the future. Visit lev216.org or text 216-POLICY to 513-580-8850 to share your ideas. You can also call 513-580-8850 and use code 10554 to make your voices heard. Together, we can create the change we need. Visit LEV216 today. Lift Every Voice 216.
Empowering the voices of Buckeye, Mount Pleasant, and Woodland Hills.
This message is brought to you by the St. Luke's Foundation and WOVU 95.9 FM, Our Voices United, Burton Bell Carr Community Radio.
Quincy, and my favorite radio station is 95.9 FM.
Everyone's talking about the #1 stage play that's sweeping across the country, Living All Alone. The story of the musical icon Phyllis Hyman. It's coming for 2 performances. Saturday, November 9th, Key Bank Theater at Playhouse Square. You have to see Living All Alone. Written and directed by John L. Ruffin. Starring Liberty Clay as Phyllis Hyman.
The answer, boy, is you.
From her struggle with drug addiction and mental illness to her suicide, a story that will touch your heart with the music you love. Living All Alone. Saturday, November 9th, Key Bank Theater at Playhouse Square. Don't miss Living All Alone, the Phyllis Hyman story.
Make sure to visit playhousesquare.org for more information. That's playhousesquare.org. This message is powered by Playhouse Square and WOVU 95.9 FM. Our Voices United, Burton Bell Carr Community Radio.
Hey guys, this is Menjeli from Puerto Rico. I'm here in the best radio station, 95.9 FM. Our voices are united. Listen to them, you know, they're the best.
Stand up, my people. Stand for something in your life. Stand up, my people.
Welcome back to Our Voices Today right here on WOVU, Burton Bell Carr Community Radio. with your beloved unicorn of the land, Uni, right here. And of course, I still have Miss Chelsea and Miss Catherine of the Legal Aid Society live in the studio with me, discussing all about the Corporate Transparency Act. And if you need to visit FinCEN.gov yourself and register your business, letting you know all about that. So let's hop right back into it. Miss Chelsea, if the information for a company has changed, how should a company update the information? Is it right back on the FinCEN.org website?
Yes, back to the website. They should start filing a new application with the changed information added, as well as with the old information.
Thank you. And before the break, we was talking a little bit about, the scammers be scamming, and how do we know if we're on the right interface when it comes to visiting the website? How do we know we are at the right place? Because these scammers, they're getting trickier and trickier by the day.
Yes, we've repeated the website several times, but again, it is FinCEN.gov, and that's FinCEN.gov. So make sure you look for the .gov, and that'll tell you you're not being scammed.
Thank you. No numbers anywhere in between, no dashes, no // nothing. Don't worry about anything but the letters, okay? FinCEN.gov. FinCEN.gov. That is it. That is all, okay? We got some upcoming brief advice clinics. Let's talk about them coming up this Saturday, September 21st. Intake hour will take place between 10 to 11 a.m. right at the Fatima Family Center. That's 6600 Lexington Avenue. And then again, October 19th, we have another intake going on, same hour, 10 to 11, right at the Cleveland Public Library, the Huff Campus, 6530 Lexington Ave. And then that Wednesday, October 23rd, intake will be taking place between the hours of 2 to 3:30 at the Cleveland Public Library main campus, the Lewis Stokes Wing, however, 525 Superior Ave. And again, Legal Aid Society provides legal services at no cost to clients with low incomes, helping ensure fairness for all in the justice system, regardless of how much money a person has. And they handle cases that impact basic needs such as health, shelter, and safety, economics and education, and access to justice. Their attorneys practice in the areas of consumer rights, domestic violence, education, employment, family law, health, housing, foreclosure, immigration, public benefits, utility, and tax. I need to see y'all for the utilities. Legal Aid Society is the 5th oldest legal aid organization in the United States, and they operate multiple offices. So look, if you can't make it to any of those intakes that I mentioned that are happening here on the east side, they have all kinds of intakes going on all over Northeast Ohio. You can visit LASCLEV.org. Again, that's LASCLEV.org. You can also give them a call, 888-817-3777. And for my Spanish speaking abuelas, or just my amigos, 216-586-3190. Again, 216-586-3190. I'm sorry, my grandma kind of was on my mind. If you need legal help with housing, employment, benefits, domestic safety, or another fundamental need, of course, please visit the website LASCLEV.org. Miss Catherine, Miss Chelsea, go ahead and give your final remarks all about just the Corporate Transparency Act, Legal Aid Society in general, and how it was such a pleasure joining me today. No.
It was absolutely a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, darling.
My final word on the Corporate Transparency Act is don't panic. Go to FinCEN.gov. Get the information. Being informed is the best way to be safe.
Thank you.
And I will just piggyback off of that. Don't panic. I know it kind of seems intimidating, but it's actually pretty straightforward and self-explanatory once you go to the website.
Thank you, thank you. And look, again, if you got to visit the website, that's FinCEN.gov, or if you need some legal aid help, that's LASCLEV.org. Don't go away. We got the ATM show coming up next, brought to you by the Phoebe Foundation on things money. We love money, but we know we got to use it as a tool, and they try to help you out with that. Again, if you need any legal aid society help, and they are only helping with legal issues, but at the civil level, okay, just to let you know. And again, if you want to visit any of those intake hours for those clinics, LASCLEV.org. Make sure you stick around.
Don't ever quit, just cause the rich get richer and the poor don't get. Excuse me, but I get so mad. Where could we have been? What could we have had? Yeah, it's time to lose those shackles and break those chains. Now who is gonna stop you from being a man?
WOVU 95.9 FM, Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station, will forever be a part of American culture. During this time, WOVU 95.9 FM has helped shape and define Cleveland and vicinity culture. Some claim